Friday have
He will
started,
post them often. Oh, you're
and
live.
we are
We're live. We're live.
once again. And I ask you to be patient with us this evening as we have gotten off on a bad start. And when I say bad start, I mean I have to look at Tub and Eric's faces. And, that does unsettle my stomach a little bit. But, I'm a nice person. I'm probably the most Christian of the bunch here. My name is Marcus Matthews, and I am one of your hosts for the Black Powder Podcast, proudly and only the real Libertarian podcast brought to you by the only real Libertarian, myself. And today, as usual, I am honored to be in the presence of my two fabulous co-hosts, the Florida man, Eric Parker, currently in North Carolina. Eric?
Carolinian.
Yeah. And then we got Tub.
Just
Come
Tub. Just
Come
Tub.
Jack, Florida. Tub. I'm going out there to see Tub. How you doing, Tub?
No, you're not.
Yeah, nobody goes to Jacksonville, so you stand correct. How you doing, though?
Listen, I don't like what's all right. I'm gonna start with this. I hate this show. Listen, I was explaining to somebody. I was talking to some people the other night. I said, "Yes, I'm on this podcast every week," and I tell them every single week, I hate this podcast. I hate this, and then every week I keep coming back again. But here's why. Okay, here's why I come back. Because it's certainly not because of you, Marcus. Let's make that abundantly clear. Wow. See, I miss Eric because I don't get to hang out with him at the Famous Amos and stuff anymore. So I don't get to do that. And we get people like Joe Hannoush on here. And that makes it worth it. Okay? Now, Eric, if you want to get started before we get started, listen, I'm ready to bring Joe all in if you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. All right. So Joe Hannoush, our man, let's assume, assume that somebody in some corner of the internet doesn't know who you are, which I think is impossible. Okay. So I would like you to tell us once again who you are, what you got going on. And if you can, inside of that, start with also telling why you ran in the first place.
Okay. Yeah. First of all, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. Thank you to Marcus, Eric, and Tub. My name is Joe Hannoush. I am a Libertarian. So that's not a Republican or a Democrat. I'm a Libertarian, for those that don't know. And I decided to run for office. This is actually my fourth campaign as a Libertarian. I first ran in 2018, and I decided to run in 2018 when I was filling out my ballot back in 2016. We had a Libertarian running for president then, Gary Johnson. I voted for him. And then there was someone running here in Florida for U.S. Senate. I voted for him as well. And then down ballot, I did the research on the candidates, and either I didn't like what I saw or I hated what I saw. So it was one of those two. So I felt like I was voting lesser of two evils, basically all down ballot. And I didn't like that feeling. It pissed me off. It triggered me, if you will. And I decided, well, I'm complaining. I'm hearing myself complain, right? And I decided to be the change I wish to see. So at that point, I'm a Libertarian. So I decided to, I was never a registered Libertarian by that point, by the way. I was always a small L Libertarian for 5 years. And then,
you mind me asking, what were you registered as?
At that time, I was registered NPA. But I had been registered. At first, I was a Democrat, not a hardcore Democrat. I wasn't involved in the party at all, but I just leaned a little bit Democrat. I just agreed with them on a little bit more issues. I saw them kind of let me down a little bit over the years, and then I kind of, by the way, I voted for Al Gore for president in 2000. I was one of those people. Yep. If anyone's familiar with that race here in Florida. And then in 2004, John Kerry was the anti-war candidate, right? So I voted for him. And Democrats, I was just already kind of done with them. They weren't we had Bill Clinton who admitted to smoking marijuana, but he left people incarcerated for smoking marijuana, right? So just they were hypocrites on some issues. So then I kind of liked the maverick attitude of John McCain, and so I agree with Republicans on some issues too. So I voted for John McCain, and of course that one kind of I didn't like where they were going with that either. So I found this online political quiz in 2011, 2012. isidewith.com, and I did a bunch of questions on there, political quiz, and it ended up telling me at the end what party I belonged to. And it was like 90% I was a libertarian, right? Not 100% like Marcus, but I was only 90%. So, yeah, so I didn't know that. I never heard of Libertarian Party. I looked up Libertarian Party. I researched the candidate who Gary Johnson was just starting to run as a Libertarian in 2012 at this time. So I looked him up. I was like, yeah, I agree with like 9 out of 10 things this guy says. So I was identifying as a small L Libertarian by like early 2012. And I didn't register as a Libertarian until 5.5 years later, I guess. So it was after the 2016 election. And then shortly after that, a couple months after that, I got involved in my local Libertarian Party affiliate here in Volusia County. I filed to run as a Libertarian candidate in like March of 2017. And I just hit the ground running from there.
Right. So this is your fourth one? I was thinking it was your third time. This is your fourth time running?
Fourth. Yeah, don't sell me short, man. Don't sell me short.
Okay,
so
Chubb does that.
So for real quick, let's focus on the immediate race right now. How's it going? What's it look like? What do you see happening down around there? Is it getting better than the previous runs?
Yeah, so there's some better than the previous runs, some worse than the previous runs going on right now. This was like my first 3 races were my shortest one. I was filed for a year and a half. This one I filed, it's going to be like 6 months long race. So it's very, very short, very condensed. It's, I believe, the lowest amount of money I've raised from any of my campaigns also. So as far as like feeling the pressure to like, I need more time to do stuff, I have been feeling that. I've not been able to do as much as I would have liked. Like I would have liked to have knocked on more libertarian doors. Of course, you guys know that we had a hurricane here, Hurricane Milton, for a while. And that shut down the campaign effectively for about 9 days. And before that, I was knocking doors, registered libertarians, and even doing a little bit sign waving. And that was like the beginning of the crunch time. And then, like I said, I had to shut down for 9 days. So that really sucked. Right now, we had early voting start on Monday. So I had to go around, put the signs out there, gave, yard signs wherever I could. And I've been doing sign waving there. And that's really, like I said before, I'm not even trying to collect money right now. We got 11 days.
Are you finding that now as you go around, people now they are starting to know who you are? That they kind of like, oh yeah, it's Jill. Like I met him last time you were running, like that type of thing.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely, and that's the benefit of running the 3 previous times. There's people that already know me. Like I don't even have to try with them, and they're already donated money to me. They already voted for me. I mean, just today I had someone, a local political activist, text me with her ballot. She's a Republican, by the way, hardcore Republican, saying voted for me. There's a commissioner here. I'm not gonna say their name. I don't want to out them, but they showed me their ballot with my name bubbled in next to it. There was another local. He's another political figure locally here. I'm not going to out him either, but local political well-respected political figure here told me he voted for me. So there are definitely some people that know me by name. Know I'm a libertarian. They all know I'm a libertarian, and they voted for me. So, and that was more on previous elections, really.
Will you do this again?
Very likely, yes.
Oh, okay. Because I thought when we talked before, you're like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll kind of. I think it was before this run. I think you were like, yeah, I don't know. We'll kind of see. But now you're just like, are you just going to keep doing it? Now, will you just keep doing it, hoping that another one will get in, and then you go, hey, all right, you do it instead?
Good. I'm glad you brought that up. When I first got in early 2017, I was just pissed off. I didn't have a plan. I just knew I was going to run, and I was going to try to help this Libertarian Party become viable, so we get Libertarians elected, so we take over the government, and the government can leave everyone alone, right? So it was very much a anti-duopoly kind of mindset I had. So early on, there were some prominent libertarians in that time in 2017 that were telling me, don't run once, run 3 times. And I was like, okay, I bought into it, right? So I ran 3 times, went all in on those, or as much as I could anyway, with the resources I had. And then this time I didn't know, as you said, like, I don't know if I was going to run this time. That's why I filed so late. And this was like, I think late April or May, like the deadline was coming up. And I still didn't know. Finally, I went to this local political hobnob event thing. It was like the state of the county address or whatever. And there were Republicans coming to me saying, Joe, we need you to run. Like, run for office. Like, we don't want to vote for this guy, the Republican. So we want you to run. And that got me to run. Like, that was my decision. It was Republicans that got me to run. So, yeah, I went in doing that way. And frankly, going forward, it'll be, and I wish someone else would run. I would love for another libertarian to be like, hey, Joe, you know what?
Any of them, just anybody, any
of them,
libertarian, just go do this.
No, because I feel like I got experience running a campaign. I know how to do social media. I know how to do like events. I know how to collect petitions, et cetera, et cetera. So I want to help other candidates. So we just need a candidate to run. So run for office, and I can help you run for office. So that's the kind of like.
And that was kind of what I was going to say, because we do see you, like, you do a lot for other candidates also. Like, you're not just the guy who says, I got a race, I got to take care of my own thing. I see you do as much for other candidates, sometimes as much as you do for your own race. Like, you're out there sign waving, you're promoting them and doing all of those type of things. So do you think that maybe, we're not going to say which cycle, that you finally go, you know what, I'm out. I'm not going to run myself, but where we could keep your resources within the party and keep using you for everything that you already have for other candidates? Because that's usually our biggest issue. Libertarians get in and they run and they do their thing, and then they bolt. Like, they lose and they bolt, and in fact, you don't do anything anymore. And so we need guys like you, not just running, but we also need guys with you with the wisdom that you have to keep around us. So is that kind of something you see yourself doing?
Yeah, that's the role I want to use. And as Tub, you probably already noticed this, but here in Florida, we got 9 candidates running right now. And I believe half of them have run before. Like, we got Nathan Slusher down in Brevard County running for county commission. This is his second race. By the way, I'm going to be down there sign waving for him on Saturday. We got Dennis Simpson, who technically he got elected just by turning in the paperwork because there was no one else running for the Soil and Water board here seat. So this time it's like his first real campaign, but technically it's his second. I'm going to meet up with him tomorrow. Hopefully we're going to do some sign waving there too. And there is on Fina Bonoan running for U.S. Senate here. This is her third campaign, right? And we're going to try to do.
Let's make it very clear. First in Florida.
First in Florida, correct? Yeah, she ran twice in Hawaii, but first in Florida. She's from Florida, so first in Florida though. And on Sunday we're going to do a sign waving for her up in like Palm Coast. I'm trying to help out other candidates, of course. There's Matt Johnson of my co-Volusia County Libertarian over here. We got Nathaniel Snyder running for U.S. House in Tampa. He's running a hardcore campaign also. Doing a lot of work like for, doing a libertarian thing, helping our community during the hurricane. And also Joshua Krakow down in Lee County, Fort Miles area. He's also going hard. He's running a good campaign. Those are two first-time candidates that I think are really going to be great assets going forward. We got Joshua Lofka down there. He's running for in a two-way race, which is very important because that's where we can make a lot of impact. It kind of break the seal, if you will, of a candidate running or voters voting for a Libertarian for the first time. Like when I ran in 2022, it was just me and an incumbent Republican. So a lot of Democrats for the first time voted Libertarian. A lot of Republicans, by the way, voted. A lot of the ones that talked me into running this time voted for me last time because they weren't worried about the Democrat running. So those are the two-way races are very opportune as well.
And that's something Eric can speak to because Eric's two-way race is very similar to what you were saying, how Republicans were coming and saying, hey, get into this.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Originally I was in a district race and then I kind of had a lot of Republicans who were like, man, and me and Tubb had this like idea, but we didn't have the, I guess, campaign contributions. But as soon as I switched to one-on-one with a bad Republican, I guess he was good enough to win, but I digress. I started getting more funding from Republicans than I was getting from Libertarians after that point. So, Joe, what were the other 3 races? You don't got to get into too many details, maybe just the year and the office you ran for.
Yeah, so in 2018, actually, I'll start backwards. It'll make more sense going backwards here. But 2022 was a post census race. So post census, you can collect petitions from statewide, right? And then, so the barrier is a little bit easier to collect petitions to get on the ballot. So I only had to collect about like 26,000 or 2,600, I should say, petitions to get from statewide to get on the ballot.
Mm-hmm.
So I mostly focused on my home. Like I live in northern Volusia. So Volusia and Flagler counties where I focused on the most, and I got like a couple hundred or a few hundred from outside, including Duval County, from outside the Volusia and Flagler area. So I was able to go for this 5 times bigger area, so I can get more voters that way, reach more voters that way. So yeah, there was 300,000 votes cast in that, right? And I got 25%. So I was about, I think, 74,000 voters voted for me. And if I didn't run, there's no election. 300,000 voters would have just nothing. Like they would have skipped it right there. So I feel like that was impactful.
That was Congress?
That was for Congress. Yeah, U.S. Congress. Now so there was redistricting, right? So the race I'm running for now, the district is like it's District 28 now. The first 2 times I ran in 2018 and 2020, it was also State House in the district I was in. It was District 25. Now it was District 25 was very gerrymandered, right? So like I would I lived on the northwest corner of it, and it would take me. I remember election night of 2018 and 2020. I would go out to the precincts like further out from where I lived. It was like a 45-minute drive to get there, right? So it was tough, and now it's like basically a block. It's just a square with the district now.
That's crazy. I mean, that's smart. I'm glad it's more
honestly,
realistic.
they should be more like that.
No, it was a block. Now before, I love that. That's how do I do
Did
that?
you see that? Yeah, I didn't know that.
Do a heart. Do a heart.
Oh look!
It only goes for Tub.
Tub. Do a thumbs up. Thumbs up, Tub. There you go. Don't.
Why does it only work for Tub?
He's using his iPhone.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Oh my God! What? Yeah. Are you serious?
Wow.
That's what happened. No, that's really happening behind me. That's it. That's right here.
For the record, Marcus paid a lot of money for those special effects.
That was cool.
And I can just, I can just do that, and it happens.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't.
The square is very nice because I've always said most voting districts look like fish skeletons because they basically carve out the neighborhoods that they want to incorporate. You know what I'm saying?
We used to have Corinne Brown up here, and her district went from here in Jacksonville all the way down to Orlando, and sections of it really only included the river. And it was just to get her because that's the only way she could carry the votes. Yeah. And so they truly had it all the way down to there, even though there's areas where basically nobody could vote for.
No, I know. I've seen those district maps. They were crazy.
So,
well, the one that went from Jacksonville to Tallahassee. It went west side of Jacksonville all the way to Tallahassee.
Yes, remember it went to the north part of the state. It just kind of carried all the way down that way.
For those not from Florida, that's like over 4 hours away. So it's like a long straight line.
Here in California, 20 miles could be 4 hours away because of traffic. But yeah,
in Jacksonville, that's how we determine distance. It's not by how far something is; it's how much time it takes you to get there.
Yeah,
like that's a half hour away. It's 4 miles, or if you go the other way, it's 20, and it's fine. All right, so hang on, because listen, we don't want to give you too much Florida stuff. All right, Marcus, because you can't handle all this Florida stuff.
Absolutely, yeah, so, and that's for the nation.
I'm gonna shift gears a little bit on you, okay? And we're gonna talk bigger libertarian stuff, like national level stuff. Because I know you're running locally, but you stay involved at the national level. Like you stay informed, you stay talking trash, stuff along those lines. So
way to out me like that, man.
You listen, all they're gonna do is go online and see you, and they're gonna see, oh yeah, he's talking trash about all of it. So you have stuck with Chase the whole time.
No. Since he got the nomination.
That's what I'm saying. Yes. Okay. That's what I'm saying. So
who was your guy before nomination?
I purposely did not have a guy because I knew what was going to happen. I knew it was going to be divisive. I know libertarians were going to fight each other. So I purposely, because I didn't want to be vested in someone, I purposely did not. So as soon as the not like I was all for, Lars Mapstead, Chase would have been fine with me too. Rectowald would have been fine with me. RFK Jr. would have been fine with me for strategic purposes, not for like libertarian, but strategic purposes. So I mean, I was open to it. Like I was open. I was gonna vote libertarian. Pretty much, if we didn't have like a joke candidate, I would have voted libertarian. So pretty much, I felt safe that I was gonna be voting libertarian. I wasn't gonna be voting for Trump. I wasn't gonna vote for Harris or Biden at that time.
Right.
So I didn't have a guy prior to convention.
Okay. So, but I guess that there actually kind of answers my question also. So when Chase got in, you've been like, no, this is my guy. I'm in. We're doing this. But for you, it's not a matter of it's Chase, so I'm in. You're doing hey, it's libertarian. And the libertarian candidate is better no matter which. Listen, I was not a Rectenwald guy. But if Rectenwald got it, I'm like, you know what? He's still better than them.
Right.
Because he's still the libertarian.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, absolutely. I would be voting for Rectenwald. Just that would be 100% okay with me. I would happily be voting for Rectenwald over Harris and Trump. No worry. Like, not even a question.
I want to make one point here. We've had everybody that's been mentioned except for RFK on this podcast. And that's solely because of me and in spite of Tub. So that's the only point I wanted to eject. Tub, you were saying?
Why didn't you get RFK on?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
You want me to get hold of him? Because listen,
he's from California.
Yeah, I felt. You know what? I can, unlike Tub, I can admit when I'm wrong. That's
you know
what
tomorrow,
Trump. We're trying to talk to Joe. All right, listen.
My bad. Y'all's a
listen, he didn't come on the show to listen to you complain about us. All right, that's not what he did. In fact, I didn't come on the show to listen to you complain about us.
Well,
I came on to listen to Joe complain about
us. We want to hear Joe go. You guys suck. All right, so Joe, you brought it up, so I'm gonna poke at it a little bit. You said RFK for tactical purposes.
For strategic purposes.
Why?
Okay, so he's obviously a name everyone knows. Every household knows Kennedy, right? He was running against the duopoly. Again, at the time, he was an anti-duopoly candidate.
That's
he wasn't going to guarantee ballot access in all 50 states. Like that was going to, again, at that time, it was a foregone conclusion he was going to get ballot access everywhere. That would, and truthfully, I didn't think the Libertarian candidate would win. I thought it would be either Biden or Trump because too many voters are voting for their party or against the other guy, right?
Yeah.
So I've always felt, this is just insider baseball here, but like my opinion as a libertarian activist is we're not going to win it in one shot. It's going to take one campaign and then building on that. And then like the third one is when we have a real shot. So I look at this RFK Jr. running as the Libertarian Party candidate as being like that, okay, that foundational, let's get ballot access, save us a bunch of money, get a lot of new people coming in, basically just everything good. Now we're giving up our principles a little bit, but like as we heard RFK Jr., he talks to the people he's there for. So I truly feel like he would have adopted the Libertarian Party platform had he got our nomination, right? Now, in hindsight, I'm glad he didn't because of what he did later on, basically, giving up and going, into one of the duopoly. So I'm glad he wasn't for that reason. But again, I didn't know that at the time.
He got paid 100%. He got paid because he was reaching out both to the Harris campaign and the Trump campaign. The Trump campaign has those super PACs. Well, both of them have those super PACs. And there's 100%, these people don't have full-time jobs. Their means of income are being somewhere and speaking to somebody. That's the same thing with Tulsi. That's the same thing with anybody who's backing, what's her name, Liz Cheney. All these people are getting paid to go out there and talk to the American people as to not of the best ideas, but why they shouldn't vote for that other person, because that's all elections boil down to right now is why you shouldn't vote for that person. And that's the problem. That's why I was so disappointed with this election cycle. and the Libertarian Party. I felt we had a grand opportunity to showcase libertarianism and oppose to MAGA and Build Back Better. I thought we had a grand opportunity to showcase a libertarian. I'm 100% in on Chase. He's been kind enough to show up on the Black Powder podcast at least 2 times. I think it was 2 times. I want to say 3, but he's been here, and I've met with him twice, and he's a genuine person. He doesn't shy away from the issue, and I think the Mises Caucus did us a grandest favor, as their approach to Chase and their focus and intent. And I'm not trying to diss my brothers. I'm with you, Mises people, but we needed a rallying moment, and Angela, who I'm not going to apologize for, did not bring that to us. And we had the best opportunity since Gary Johnson to get 5, 6, 7%, and the Libertarian Party blew it for a variety of reasons. But I don't understand. My question to you, Joe, was why didn't you go local instead of state?
Well, frankly, the way my district is set up, my state house district, it's only a little bit larger than another seat I was looking for on the county council, so the local seat. It's only a little bit bigger. It's like maybe, I think like, I don't know, it's not much bigger. Basically, like it would have been like 20% bigger or something. So it's effectively the same seat that I was, going to run in anyway. But the main difference is in my county, I know it's different in Duval, but in my county, the county races, the county council race, I should say, is nonpartisan. The state legislature race is partisan. Now, if I looked at my chances of winning, because I look at that first, like, do I have a chance to win? And I didn't see a way for me to have a better than 50% chance of winning for either one of those seats. So then my default is, how do I help build the Libertarian Party to become more viable? So that's what I did. I went for the bigger seat, partisan seat that I know I could qualify for. That was another important factor too. Like running for Congress in a non-post-census year costs like $10,000, like just to get on a ballot. I know I wasn't going to raise that, so I had to go to the state house. Was really the best opportunity for me to do it. I looked at state senate because it's the same qualifying fee, but a much larger area. But they moved the district up so much. Like they corrected the state house district. They messed up the U.S. House and the state senate districts. So I literally live if I drive outside my neighborhood, I can walk to it in 5 minutes. That's the southern part of my district. Now get this, Duval guys, the northern part of the district, guess where it is? The Duval County line.
No way.
Yes.
What?
Like from me, I'm at the very southern edge. The northern edge of it stops right at the southern part of the Duval County line.
Is that the west side of Duval County? Because you got St. John's County. Because you're in the middle of the state, kind of, right? Or no? You're on the beach.
No, I'm like, you drive straight north, you're hitting.
But there's St. John's County there.
So
St. John's. Gotcha.
You know where Mandarin is?
Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah.
Wait.
The west side of Jacksonville, kind of.
Oh, Mandarin.
Southern west side. Well.
Does that cover Delray Beach?
I don't know.
Oh, sorry. I have relatives there, and I was just curious as to that fact because I wanted to tell them to vote for you.
Is Delray? I don't even know where that is, honestly. It doesn't sound like
it's about 45 minutes north of Miami.
Okay, no. That's way south.
Well,
Marcus, look at a map.
Isn't Jacksonville up north?
Yeah, it's as far north as you get.
Miles.
So.
And where you are, I thought it was a suburb of Miami. That's why.
No.
Oh, no.
He's just south of Jacksonville. I mean, we just learned that right here.
I'm like an hour south of Jacksonville.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
We didn't know it either, but
Yeah.
I
didn't know you that far. Now, here's the thing. Like, you asked him, Marcus, you're like, hey, why didn't you run local instead of running state? But like for Eric and I, for the races that we had, our race was bigger running for city council than it was running for any state office
or Congress.
And Congress, yeah, right.
Yeah, like ours was bigger. And here's the thing: I think that with Eric and Tracy and I, Joe, we had the same thinking that you did. was because ours was partisan, like what you're saying.
Yeah.
And our goal was we wanted to make the Libertarian Party known. Like that was the whole point of it. Like I think we all kind of knew, like, hey, we're not winning this. But you know what? Let's go out and be good candidates for the Libertarian Party and get the word out there. Now, here's the problem, though. You're doing something way better than what we were doing because you're like, okay, did it, gonna do it again, did it again, gonna do it again. And whereas
you're like every 2 years, you're like, bam, bam, bam.
Right. And then we had no follow-up after that. Now, we can still do, I can still do city council. Not going to, but I can still do city council. But as
mayor,
a whole,
though,
we don't have that next group to kind of, okay, we laid the groundwork. Now get to work.
Well, to be fair to you guys, you did run twice. I know you're a current candidate, Eric. And
no, I'm not. No, that's a lie. I'm a chair of a local affiliate. I'm not a current candidate.
I thought you were.
No, I'm just being a dirtbag podcaster.
Okay, my bad. No, I missed.
Your bad. My bad. That is my bad. Joe, let me accept responsibility for that. That is my bad that I have a dirtbag podcaster on the Black Powder podcast. So I'm sorry to you. Sorry. I truly apologize.
And anyway, Tom did run twice. He had a campaign within his campaign. He ran for lieutenant governor here. So I was very happy about that. I got to meet him down here in West Volusia, actually, when he ran for that. So I was a proud supporter of that campaign. I was really happy to see us have a libertarian, the only pro-freedom choice on the ballot was Hector Roos and Tubb. So
thanks to Tubb.
I would like to see the Libertarians get involved in that gubernatorial race again and do it really hit. Like Hector and I didn't really hit it. Like there was a lot of it was kind of paper. I tried to go to some place and we kind of divided the state a little bit. But I would like to see Libertarians get in and run that race. And just, once again, not going to win. Like, let's just be honest. But get the word out there.
But it's all about resources. I mean, we got to have the resources to do it. I mean, right now we do have a statewide candidate in Pina Bonoan. But, I mean, we got to have the money behind it. I mean, I'm trying to help it out, every way I can. But there's only so much I can do. There's only so much she could be at. Florida's a big state. But
Tubb, who's that guy that made you a libertarian? The radio guy?
Neil Bortz.
He is a registered libertarian in the state of Florida. Y'all should recruit him to run for governor.
He don't want nothing to do with it. We slowly kind of hinted around about it. He's like, he has no desire. He's older now. Like he's even retired out of radio now.
Look, if he's going to be that'd be the perfect paper candidate.
Paper candidate.
Neil Bortz. Oh my gosh. Wow. Yeah.
We'll let Joe go do some sign waving for him. So, hey, Joe.
Eric, well, there's a question for Eric. I wanted Eric to answer this question real quick. And then there's a question for Tubb. So, Eric, go ahead.
So, I don't know before I knew I was moving to North Carolina, I knew I was going to be moving out of Duval County. Like, that was the plan. I was going to move to Nassau, which Nassau County in the state of Florida has the most registered libertarians per capita. It's just north of Jacksonville, just so you know. That's where my hometown. I grew up in Yulee. I was going to move there, live on my dad's property in a camper and sell our house, pay off all of our debt, and, keep working where I was working, maybe try and find another job, whatever. But I was planning on running for state representative in the state of Florida it would have been north of Jacksonville and Nassau County. Well, plans change, and God's been with us the entire time we've been here. So everything's working out great here in North Carolina. No regrets, you know what I mean? So kind of. I might have told thee this before.
Can you answer the
I don't
question,
know.
Please? You did.
Yes, I was
thinking
thinking about.
Question.
Yes, I was thinking about running. No, I just did not do it. I decided not.
What about up there though?
Up here, not yet. The North Carolina Party is trying to recruit me. The Libertarian Party trying to recruit me. I got to get more involved before I really decide to run. Meaning, like, I am the chair here in Guilford County. I've already done like 3 or 4 socials, which is, 4 times more than they were doing before. And I put out signs for Bob Drack, North Carolina auditor.
Yeah.
He's great. Like I put out a buttload of signs. So like I've been doing stuff. I'm trying to grow it. I want to be like, hey, look, we got something, and then be able to hand it off to somebody soon. Hopefully, maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
No,
But
you
yeah,
got Bob.
so-
You got Bob Drack, and you got Mike Ross. I think is a good.
Yeah, Mike
candidate.
Ross has been on
He's been
here. Yeah, I should have got Bob
Sammy
Drack
Brooks.
on before, but my work schedule wasn't great. So
I don't know if you
I
know,
messed that up.
but Sammy Brooks, she's running up there. She's from Florida. She's from Sarasota County.
Hey, Sammy Brooks follows the show. We need to have her on.
No, she's
All
real
right.
awesome. She's good at outreach and whatnot. And Susan Hogarth up there too. She got in trouble for the ballot selfie, right? And I believe those charges were dropped, but like the government sent her a letter saying take down her post. Did y'all hear about that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't post with your
Right,
ballot.
yeah.
That's illegal just about every state.
Yeah, it's illegal in Florida. I made sure to no one in Florida is watching this, right?
No.
I made sure to
Not
take a
with Tub,
selfie
not with Tub on here. So
with my ballot inside the booth. I was literally there. You can see like the cardboard cutout of the booth. Took a selfie, posted it online, and so far the government has not raided my house. So far so good.
You'll get a letter in the mail.
Yep, here it
saying
comes.
That's a no. But
Justin
yeah, a lot of
Bieber
people here
got
in
one.
North Carolina
Justin-
protested it.
that was Justin Bieber's first legal troubles. He posted himself with his ballot.
I believe you're right. Yeah.
That's
And
highly
it's all been downhill since
No,
then.
it's there.
So, you know, when you
Struggling
participate in the duopoly, everything just starts going downhill for you.
I
My
thought you were
fellow
going to say when
Texans.
you participate in the Diddy parties.
Oh, Jesus
That
Christ.
too. You know, and there's a lot down there in Florida. I'm surrounded by Florida, man. You know,
His biggest issue was not Diddy parties. It was taking a picture with your ballot. That
It's the
sums
same
up the
thing.
government
It's the
right
same-
there.
you know what? If you guys aren't going to support our government in everything it does and says, you know, the law is the law, and I'm pretty sure you guys are supposed to respect the law.
You're
If
the
you're
most
not
libertarian
here-
person ever? Is that right?
I'm just
But you
here
gotta
to
agree that
upset
he's
them
still
in
running.
some way,
Smile and
shape.
nod at him.
No, smiling. Look, let me tell you guys something, okay?
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
I'm also the only real American here because I have a vested interest.
You're the old real American Care Bear?
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. I did not interrupt you when you were talking Florida
You don't have
man.
anything to add.
And I almost said the S word, but I'm gonna respect you as a man of God. As I did not
You
interrupt
son
you.
of
I
a-
didn't-
Well, say it already. What are you going to say?
Nothing. I'm just trying to banter on and
All right,
frustrate.
Joe, back to you.
Filibustering. Yeah, go ahead, Eric. What's the question?
So can I talk to Joe then?
Joe,
Yeah,
hold
go
on.
ahead.
No. All right, so Joe, and if
Hey.
you don't want to answer this, it's controversial. You were referencing backstage about like photos, campaign photos, and this, that, and the other. Were they libertarians attacking you, saying your campaign photos didn't look professional enough? Was that? If you don't want to talk about it, you don't have to.
I mean, I prefer not to, honestly.
Okay,
All
so we'll
right.
get to that Liberty Ladies question. Did you guys hear You Are the Power was successful in cyberbullying the government enough to drop the charges against Rebecca Massey? First Amendment wins. Did you guys hear that?
Yes.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And
Joe, you actually just made a comment about this on Twitter.
yeah, and I don't know if you guys have seen the video of her being arrested.
Yeah.
She-
I have.
Yeah,
It was
it's
disgusting.
disgusting. It's
It was-
absolutely disgusting. And they dropped the charges. And it's just, it pisses me off. It's just abhorrent behavior. And honestly, Liberty did not win today because when those charges are dropped, the government got away with
Yeah.
stopping someone exercising their First Amendment right, and then like just going through not due process, the detainment. Like these police officers detained her, went through the process of arresting her, and then dropped the charges later. That's not okay.
No.
The government-
I want to say something astounding to the American people right now. The government has very limited rights, and it does not have the right to free speech. The government does not have the entire right to lie to you, even though they gave it to themselves. And that's one of the main reasons I came to the Libertarian Party, is because I saw the government as an overreach from a young age. As to, I think it was during my public education, where they were making government this omnipotent figure that was above you in such a way that you could never question them.
Mhm.
And what she did was question them, and they arrested her for it. If you're not upset by that and you're a Democrat or a Republican, you are the problem. You are not the power. You're the problem, because this has always been a republic. Unfortunately, I think since the Whiskey Rebellion, this country has not lived up to that mantra, because George Washington sent American troops against American citizens, and everybody wants to elevate him to founding father status. And that's what I think libertarianism is. It is going to what this country was supposed to be, a more perfect union. And we are the only party that seeks that more perfect union, because there's one thing Democrats and Republicans will always agree with. The first thing, well, there's a couple things, but the first thing is always keeping the system the same that brought them to power. The second thing is war, because they will fund a war just because it helps the economy, and that's
Oh,
what. Yeah.
they can be bipartisan when it comes to spending money and supporting war.
Yeah.
So
You know,
let me ask all y'all this as a panel. Do y'all think it's better that the charges were dropped, or what if this had made it to the court
Yeah.
and then fought, and then a precedent was changed,
Yeah.
and our civil liberties were protected because of a lawsuit? But
The
here's
second
the problem. Like, that would be, you got to hope you win. And if you don't, you appeal, because that's how you get to the Supreme Court.
Right.
That costs a lot of money. That's the problem. Now, and us as libertarians, like, we could organize, but if we were like, yo, we need to fund, like, where are those organizations, like Institute for Justice, for example, is a great one.
There
you know
is.
what I mean? Like, but we need to be prepared. And that's kind of how the Second Amendment law firm that's I think firearms, I forget the name of the organization, but they intentionally, like, I'm not gonna say get in trouble, but get involved in lawsuits, and they got the funding to keep escalating all these Second Amendment lawsuits all the way up to the Supreme Court.
are you talking
You
about
gotta
gun
have,
policy at the FPC?
yeah, Firearms Policy Coalition
Yeah.
or whatever, right?
Fire. Yeah.
So their strategy is kind of like, let's find it's literally, it'll be like a misdemeanor charge, right? But we're going to fight it and keep going up and appealing. And then we get to the Supreme Court, and they usually rule in the Constitution's favor. Lately. So
Lately, yeah.
I'm just saying, like, you don't know how it's going to go. And once it gets, that's the weird part, is once it gets to the Supreme Court, if you lose, you lose. And the law is changed permanently, essentially.
Here's the thing, though. It's happening now. So what do we lose? It's happening now.
Yeah, I mean, that's my point. Like, I just don't know if maybe, like, this individual, like, was like, no, I'm not willing to go through a several-year legal battle. I just want and that's her own freedom to choose. You know what I mean? So,
well, with Susan, yeah, and I talked to her, and I also talked to Susan Hogarth, who was the ballot selfie person. She was willing to go to the Supreme Court. So
yeah.
And these are both First Amendment issues, so among other things, but like, and they're both backed by FIRE, that group. So I don't know how deep their pockets are, but they had some backing. And with Rebecca Massey, she had the power backing her as well. Again, I don't know how deep those pockets are, but at least there was some backing there.
Yeah.
And if it would have gone further, and they needed money, I don't have a whole lot of money, but I would have given something. And if everyone does their little part, I think, and that's a First Amendment battle. I mean, that's essential. I mean, that's fundamental to our rights here as Americans.
All you guys' arguments, I'm sorry, Tub, but real quick, all the arguments made in favor of what everybody just said right now, I think that's the fault of public education, because public education does not teach you that you are the power, that you are the republic, that you are this nation. They teach you to make sure you line up, make sure you sit crisscross applesauce. They teach you to stand up, and I'm saying this is bad, but they teach you to stand up and salute the flag and pledge
And
allegiance.
take a plea bargain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
you're right.
compromise to authority. And that's if people are talking about public education, that's the first thing you should be telling your kids is the indoctrination of you and the state, not you and your gender or whatever, but every single kid in the United States at this very moment is going to go to school next Friday morning and be indoctrinated into not ever questioning the state.
Right.
And I think that's a huge issue. Yeah.
And I just want to point this out. This is the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, right? It's a very thin book. It's a pocket constitution, right? And it's a little raggedy because this is my third campaign with it on me. But the Bill of Rights, just the first 10 amendments, is literally a page and a half on this. You can read it in 3 minutes. And I'm a slow reader. You can read it in 3 minutes. But this should be taught in school. This should be a school book right here.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Speaking of slow readers,
City Council.
Speaking of slow readers, let's go to Tub.
Here I am. No, you think you're making a ha-ha. I am. Ha-ha. Joke's on you, Marcus.
Whoa.
So I was teaching in a local Christian school, and I had a middle school class. It was the eighth graders I had, and I was looking at their history books, if you will, and I'm like, it's not teaching them anything that they're actually going to use. So I spent the next summer grabbing a book. All I did was I just compiled a book. And inside the textbook, we covered, I kept it basic. I said, hey, let's learn the states. Let's learn the maps. Let's learn the capitals. But then we got into, here's the Constitution. And we went through and I taught them about the Constitution and what that was because they weren't getting that anywhere. And so we took a large section. So I can say I was able to take those kids for the next couple years and truly teach them about here's what the Constitution says. Now, I had to kind of stay unbiased in things. I kind of, all right, step back and check a little bit. But as a whole, because it wasn't happening. Because government schools have a plan. And it's already said that they want workers. And if you notice, they're teaching you how to just grow up and conform. That's it. Because what they do is they say, hey, they assign you to a school. They say, hey, this bus is going to pick you up at this place, take you to this place. You're going to sit there till the bell says go somewhere else. You're going to go to the next assigned place. You're going to do that throughout the day. And then what they're going to do is they're going to give you a little break. And that break may be recess. The break might be longer, like Christmas break or whatever. And all they're doing is they're training us to go, I go here to this time. I go here to this time. I get out. And then I start looking forward to 1 week's vacation with my family. And that's all they wanted. And the problem is we've all just fallen into it. And now when guys like us or people like us go, hey, wait a minute, that's just conformity. They're not teaching you anything. And all they're doing is up for a life of not doing anything but following. Because all it is once the government school's done, they want you to follow government that way. And just keep doing this. And then we become the lunatics. We become the weirdos. We're the, hey, what's wrong with you guys? Well, I'm like, I'm not Marcus, but I am trying to say I'm way normal.
It's indoctrination. It's brainwashing. It's compliance. It's obedience. It's doing what it's government. I don't want to say grooming, but it's government.
It is.
Say it. Say grooming. That's fine. Say grooming.
It is.
I mean, it is.
Don't say it. It'll be used against you. I'm just kidding.
No, but it is. I mean, they condition you to that 100%.
Yeah.
And we don't push back. You know what I tell people though? Because people don't really want freedom. People are afraid of freedom. True freedom.
Oh my God! Yes.
Because they've been told you can't do this without government. See, they allow government to do things, so they've been told that government's the only one who can do those things.
People are afraid
like who's going to do it if government doesn't do it? The people who are doing it before the government was doing it.
I know people that fill in their own potholes in Jacksonville.
Yep.
I know.
Which is actually what Tracy was waiting to get arrested for.
Well, the worst part about everything you guys said is the fact that people are groomed to so rely on government that they don't understand what they can do for themselves. If they just understood what they could do for themselves.
But some things they can't do for themselves because the government says you can't do this thing.
Exactly. That
Right.
too. You know, because during hurricanes, I remember Katrina, there was the Cajun Navy doing stuff, and the government was telling them, hey, you guys need to back down because we need to step in and do this for the people. When the
Hurricane
people
Milton,
step up, that's the only threat to the government.
Hurricane
That
Milton,
made
this
the
just
Cajun
happened.
Navy more popular.
No, and I forget what city. Oh, Castleberry. Castleberry was the city. So this is out in Seminole County. This was after Hurricane Milton. This just happened, right? Like weeks ago. The city of Castleberry wanted to make sure someone had a permit to put back up their fence that was put down by Hurricane Milton, and they repealed that whatever that.
They got reamed online.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
oh yeah, yes,
But
Yes,
you know-
it went viral.
Libertarians.
Like not just libertarians trolling them, but everyone cyberbullied the government that
Right.
day or that
Yeah.
week. Like,
And they
yes,
backed down.
I thought it was a meme like city. You know how you see those fake Facebook pages
It's real.
and it's not a real town?
I've been
I
there.
thought that was one of those pages, and then it's like, no, this is a real town.
But
Yeah.
you know that's a real problem that you know, and we have it around here also. That if you're trying to do, for whatever reason, if you're trying to replace more than 2 panels of your fence, you need permission. Even if you're replacing a fence that was already there. And those are the things people go, yeah, but what difference does it make? It makes a huge difference because every single time that we cave on these things, that's another thing they have control over. Like
Yeah.
when I was going recently with our town where our church is, which is the next city over. So I went through it with them because we put a fence up with a little deck. Anyway, so I asked him, and I went through all the stages to fight that one with the city. I didn't care. I'm like, I'm gonna keep arguing with you on this one, and I'm not having. So I asked the city planner. I think they call it a commissioner, town commissioner. And so I was talking to her. I said, hey, let me ask you a question. I said, if I wanted to put a divider fence, because we had the back part of the property and the front part, I was like, hey, I just want to make it nobody pulls into the back part with their cars. I said, can I put a little fence up, a divider fence up there? Doesn't attach to anything, just freestanding. They go, no, you got to have a permit for that. And I started pushing back, and I'm like, this is absurd. And then people go, but and this what happens. I actually made a post about it, and people are like, yeah, but you don't understand that you have to. And I'm like, wait a minute, how do we get to this point? How do we get to the point where we've allowed this stuff to happen, where we just go, well, it's easier just to do it? I don't.
One inch at a time. 1 inch at a time. They take 1 inch at a time.
That's all it is. And then you know where libertarians fail? Watch this. Libertarians want everything back right now, and I tell them all the time, can't do that. Incremental. Get a win.
Incremental. That's why I was asking Joe about local versus state. Because we, like Michael White, we have failed to mention my brother in arms. And when I say
MW for Liberty.
Great candidate, by the way. Great candidate.
Yeah. We have to do this locally, and you know, I'm not going to take credit for that. That's when Spike Cohen was on here, and he was talking about doing things locally. And when Michael White was on here, we always talked about, you know, local stuff. And I do think we still have to take that approach. And unfortunately, like I intimated earlier in this podcast, we had a grand opportunity on the national level this election cycle, and it was floundered away. It was just given away. But we have to show people how bad the government is by our ideas, because you know what I said earlier, when Democrats and Republicans talk about each other, it's just how bad they are. They don't ever say, hey, look, our current government is in this state. I think we could be over here in a better position if we make these moves. They never talk about their grand ideas. They just talk about, you know, they don't have to. And that's the thing. Libertarians had a chance to say, we are a viable third option, and here's why. Instead, we said, you know what? These are our libertarian candidates. Here, sort them out. By the way, here's President Trump talking to the libertarians. We invited Joe Biden on here, but he didn't want to talk to us. Here's Vivek Ramaswamy, who ran as a Republican and endorsed Trump. Hey, talk to him. We didn't say, hey, let's hear what Rectenwall has to say. Let's hear what Lars Mapstead had to say. We didn't. Even Josh Smith. Josh Smith had some grand ideas as well. We didn't have a true debate in the Libertarian Party during the national convention. We had a winners takes all thing, and we damn well know, excuse me, Tub, that we can't compete with the duopoly because they have money. We have to debate them or defeat them on ideas, and we didn't have a person bringing us those ideas to the forefront where we could have defeated them. You know what I mean?
So, Joe, you want to reply to that?
Not really, no.
Okay, yeah, we don't try. We let him go. We don't try to talk to him.
Great rant.
So,
I'm sorry, but
No. You get me fired up.
Hey, I'm trying to talk to Joe. All right. So,
yeah, Florida man, proceed.
Joe, I got 3 quick questions for you. Okay, and you can answer them as long as you need to. One is, how's the coverage go down there, media-wise, for you in your race?
That's an interesting question because in previous of my elections, there were 2 local political radio hosts. They had, Monday through Friday, hours-long shows that I would regularly, daily, call into or email, and they would read my email on the air, or I would be in studio sometimes.
Okay.
Yes, and unfortunately, those 2 hosts, those gentlemen, passed away.
Oh.
So I lost a big end. That was just free media that way. And not only that, during COVID, the newspapers used to be big, but then they kind of got shut down because advertising got shut down because businesses were closed, right? So it really hurt them a lot. So even the newspapers, to get your, if you write a letter to editor or whatever, again, free media, right? Even then, you're reaching a much smaller audience because of the smaller impact they have now. So, I mean, I've been really on social media, I guess, running a campaign that way. And
is social media being effective for your local race like that?
I mean, it's hard to tell because all this changed. Like the comparison race would have been to 2020, 2018 and 2020.
Right.
Because 2022 is heads up. So there's no way to tell apples to apples in a 3-way race against the duopoly how my election results would have been. So This is really the first test of that. And my average for my first 2 campaigns against the duopoly was only 2%. So if I do better than like 2.5%, 3%, then I would say yes. My name recognition, my brand recognition, the anti-duopoly sentiment has made an impact. Now, I don't know how I'll do, honestly, but I would consider really anything above 2.5% to be success.
Okay.
Real quick before, because we're going to start wrapping this up shortly. I want to get to that Liberty Lady's question to Joe. And I don't expect you to delve too deep into the Trump part of this, but abolishing income tax, and she said replace with tariffs, which I don't personally agree with either. But where do you stand on those 2 principles, abolishing income tax and tariffs?
I agree with the first part. The second part, replacing with tariffs or abolishing tariffs?
Well, replacing with I think the United States government, well, the Trump part thinks tariffs are an end all be all. But the fact that our consumerism, where 85-90% of our products that we buy are imported, which I feel is a national security threat, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago with Evans O'Brien about how our precursors for all of our drugs are actually made overseas, but all of our consumer products, roughly 90-95% are made overseas. And when you add tariffs to those products, you're also going to add sales tax to those products if you talk about abolishing income tax. And I don't think Republicans truly process that. You know, Democrats don't give a flying flip about taxes.
Right.
And Chubb, that was for you because I refrained from cussing on that particular phrase I used right there. But they don't care about adding taxes to anything. And Republicans magically think tariffs are not going to raise prices. It's just going to go into the coffers of the United States government. Where's your position on tariffs?
Yeah, so I understand all that. I understand why Republicans actually believe that. I understand why they're saying it because it sounds good. It sounds very America first, right? We're going to tax, effectively, tariffs are taxing the goods on foreign imports, right? But what they don't talk about is what you mentioned before. It increases the cost for Americans to purchase something, right? I'm a free market guy. I'm a libertarian. Not as libertarian as you again, Marcus, but I am a libertarian. So I believe in the free market. I want to abolish tariffs also. But first of all, let's just be real here. And I know libertarians say this. I said this during my congressional campaign. I want to abolish income tax. Is that going to happen? No. So I always talk about replacing it with a sales tax, but it would be like a Florida model. And for those that aren't from Florida, the model of sales tax here is that it's not a regressive tax, because people always say sales tax, oh, that's regressive. The way Florida does it here is there is no sales tax if you buy like water or food from like a grocery store for basic, necessities, necessities, right? So I would like basically expand that. So if you're a poor person, you're not paying any sales tax because you're only buying essentials for the most part anyway. And not only that, you would get rid of the income tax. So you're actually you actually end up net up a little bit. And when I was running for, and I am now for State House, and previously, and I know Tubb probably disagrees with me on this one, but it's to get rid of the property tax altogether and just go to sales tax on that. So it would be like, it would help the poor people actually. And to get back to the original question here, this is all pie in the sky stuff. Trump is just saying things, right? That just sound good, get headlines, and some libertarians have been sharing that. Frankly, they're feeding into it. And what they don't realize, or they probably do, they're just not sharing it, is that Chase Oliver was saying the same thing. But even better, like get rid of the tariffs too. Reduce spending. Like he's talking about actual. This is what we need to do, not just like talking, but here's the actual solution, right? Reduce spending is what he's talking about. Trump is not talking about that. So Trump is just talking the in his mouth, just like in 2016. I'm going to pay off the debt. We're going to end the wars. And what happened? Wars continued. Debt skyrocketed. And he's just doing the same thing right now. He's talking, and people are buying into it. He's going to win, probably. And we're going to be feeling pretty upset about it. Like, oh, well, better than Harris, right? Well, better than Hillary, right? Well, we had Chase Oliver. So,
I think which Chase was good even before Mike Termat joined his campaign, but Mike Termat is a degreed, I don't know if he's got a PhD, but he's an Austrian economist, is the vice presidential libertarian candidate. Like, if you want to hear about how tariffs are going to hurt our economy, have a conversation with an economist, one that's worked in the previous White House. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know which one. I can't remember. I think it might have been Bush. I don't know.
I think
you know what I mean?
Because mom was on here 3 times.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, like, tariffs and libertarians say this all the time. It's a tax on the American consumer.
It is.
Because, just like Tubb said earlier, on a Facebook post, the price of restaurant or the quality of restaurant food has went down. The prices stayed the same or went up. Well, imagine whenever all of your tomatoes from wherever isn't America or have tariffs added to them, and your pasta sauce price doubles. You know what I mean? You can no longer go to the, what was that fast food Italian place that no one goes to? You can no longer go there. Pazzuli's or whatever. I don't know.
Oh my God.
Can I say this real quick? I'm just simply impressed Eric remembered something Tubb said, because most of the time I feel like it's the Charlie Brown teacher. When
You are not equipped with the wisdom. You know, some people go, man, that's like they hear that, like, shit. You struggle with it. So now, listen, I asked Joe one question before we're done. I'm asking Marcus, is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Proceed,
All right,
my brother.
All right. So, Joe, I'm going to ask this one. Are you involved with your local affiliate?
Yes.
Are you leading part of your local affiliate?
Am I what?
Are you in leadership of your local affiliate?
I'm an officer, yeah.
Okay. And the only reason I asked it is because we've had different conversations. Everybody goes, I don't know if Joe is. I don't know if Joe isn't. And you made comments different times. We're like, is he or is he not? And we can never really figure it out.
Well, I'm not a big title guy. I like to, like, that's insider stuff, right? So I don't even like talking about that, really, even with fellow libertarians, frankly. But, like, I don't put that on my resume. I don't, like, preach it anywhere. It's insider stuff. I feel like I'm a volunteer. I'm providing a service to my local affiliate, you know, so we can exist and hopefully do things. And that's really it. That's as far as it goes. I'm just doing my part.
That's awesome. So as we wrap this up, I'm going to ask my co-hosts and myself to give their closing statements. And you know what? Actually, we're going to go to Joe for his closing statements first. And then we're going to go to Eric and Tub. And then, you know, I'll end it because Tub is probably going to bring everybody down and possibly put them to sleep. I don't want to say that.
You just did.
Oh, my bad.
We'll edit it out, right?
Yeah, we'll. I mean, this is live. We're unedited. We're libertarians. We go with what we say. But Joe, can you give us your pitch? And if I was in Florida man in your county, most certainly, I am saying this out loud, I would vote for you. But why should people vote for you right now?
I mean, if you want true freedom, if you want the government to not make decisions for you, like I'm running so that when I get elected, I'm going to make decisions that make votes that say, not because I want to force my personal beliefs onto everyone else, everyone in Florida, but because I don't know what's going on in each one. I don't know what's going on in Tubbs' life. Tubb knows what's going on in his life. As a Floridian, I don't want to vote to impose my beliefs and like say, oh, well, Tubb, you know, if a hurricane comes by, you know, you should get permission from the government to put like a divider up in your, you know, between your fence there. No, Tubb knows best. The local people there know best. I would rather him be able to make those decisions. So whatever comes up at state level in Tallahassee, I'm going to be voting against growing the state government in this case from making decisions for fellow Floridians like Tubb. I mean, that's basically it. I mean, that's it. So you know, if you want that, vote Libertarian.
Thank you very much, Eric. What are your closing statements?
I just wanted to say I know Joe. I met Joe. We met at the Florida Canna Fest. That was the first time we ever met. And I remember you were tabling both for the state party. You weren't a candidate at the time, I don't think. You were a previous candidate.
Yeah, I was.
That's where I'm gonna I don't know, share back to what Tubb said. We kind of were like, hey Joe, you gonna run again? And you were like, I don't know. I was essentially told you run 3 times, and I've ran 3. I think I've done. And I'm pretty sure I tried selling you before all these Republicans did. That like, no, man, you need to run. So, just like Marcus says that he helped create Spike Cohen in a lab or whatever, I feel like I helped Joe realize you are a candidate that everyone loves to see run. And one of my favorite things about you is whenever you go on, what is that like weird like Quizlet page that asks funny questions, and it'll be like, what's the most annoying thing in the world? And your answer is always the government or whatever. All those little quips, and then it becomes a screenshot, and then it's shared broadly throughout the interwebs. So keep up the good work. I think Tubb made that point earlier. You're all over the internet. Everybody loves you. You're a great candidate, and I think you got a chance to win. Seriously, with you telling me that all of these like very political, let's say party individuals, like major party individuals, are saying they're voting for you. And if you don't win, you're gonna get the highest vote percentage you've gotten so far. So keep up the good work.
Thank you.
All right. And now we're gonna go to Tub with his closing statements which I'm sure is gonna depress. They're gonna be depressing.
Spectacular. So they have this saying inside the church to say it's preach the gospel and be forgotten. See, I'm not going to try to be like Marcus and pretend like I'm propping somebody up. Who am I? Listen, and what I'll do, Joe, I'm going to follow your lead. We're just going to do the work quietly, whether we get credit for it or not. We're just going to plug away and keep our own egos out of it. Struggle for Marcus, but there we are. Now, with all of that, Joe, thank you for coming on. And I'm glad that we finally got the right night straightened out. and so, Joe, I would tell you indeed, I think that whatever happens in this election and whether you choose to run again, listen, that's your world. You do as you feel led to do. But I can tell you that we need you involved. We need you, even if it's just hey, we need your wisdom to carry on past your running, if you will. So I guess I hope and pray that you stay active locally and overall, and just keep sticking it to them wherever you can online.
Thank you.
You know, Joe, I'm going to stick to you as the guest. I'm not going to mention anybody else prior to you as the most important factor in this podcast tonight, because I think you bring an energy unlike the person. If you're looking at this screen, you know, it's just my bottom right.
Left on mine with the goofy sunglasses.
Yeah.
Wait, yeah.
I just want to let you know that, you know, if you were somebody who was on the ballot in Delray Beach, Florida, and it's this guy, yeah, that guy, it's that guy. You know, I truly appreciate you separating yourself from the Florida man mantra that Tub brings to mind when I read national headlines of what you people do down in Florida. And when I say you people, I mean that in every exact phrase of the term, you people, because you guys are a special individual. And, you know, truth be told, my father lives in Florida, but I separate him because he's been my idol for a better part of 50 years. He's been my idol as a individual I looked up to. I brought these two individuals on, Eric and Tub, out of my reverse affirmative action policy, because, you know, I want to make sure that black men know there are some allies out there. As 85 to 89 IQ as they are, there are some allies out there.
I've never had an IQ test.
Yeah, but I could just let you know.
Tells you anything.
I feel like I'm getting dumber right now.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's just a natural progression. That's the human natural progression of the Florida man.
I hate this show.
And I truly hope you guys aren't taking this personal, because this is just my professional opinion. I'm not here to belittle anybody, but there's just facts that need to remain facts. And, you know, Florida men and Josh, I'm sorry, Josh, I'm Joe being the exception at this point of this podcast. So what do you have to say? I didn't interrupt anybody's closing statements.
Yeah, because we didn't go off the rails.
and you talked your trash before we said ours, is what it was.
Yeah. Bro, we're playing chess, not checkers. Okay, so you made your move, I made mine. But I want to thank Joe Hannoush, dude, bro. Seriously, I would vote for you in any race you ran for, locally, county, state, federal. I truly believe in your message, bro. And that's one love. And unlike these people that have actually met you, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. They're just saying that because they're here right now. And
hold on. I want to make something abundantly clear before you're done with trash talking.
Yeah.
Whose idea was it to bring Joe on?
Mine.
Nope. Listen, I will post, Joe, because I'm so sick of him. I will post the text messages if I have to and show.
And do it in the comments right now.
I'm just kidding.
There's no need for that. There's no need for that. I'm kind of
hey,
people fool you. All right.
It was Tubbs' idea, and I think it was a great idea.
I asked him to contribute because he has not done a darn thing to contribute to this enterprise other than showing up, taking off his glasses, making my stomach upset, and that's what he did earlier.
Dude, listen, this show is just, it was plummeting quick. You knew you had to bring it on to save it.
Plummeting.
My cheeks hurt from laughing right now.
Hey, for the record, Joe's opponents might be watching this. They could, let's be professional.
Yes,
we're real Americans. That's what we are. We are real Americans. We are kitchen table Americans. If you don't have conversations like this at your kitchen table, I would not go eat dinner with you at any day of the week whatsoever, because we are real Americans and we talk the truth. We can understand that there is banter to be had. There is insults to be made, to which it's very simple to make them against Tubb. But we need to. We need to understand that this is real America. We're all in the same line. We're all wanting the same things. We want a roof over our head that doesn't leak when a hurricane hits. I want a house that stands up to an earthquake. That's what my relationship to Florida is. And we want food on our table and our kids to have a safe and secure environment to live their best lives. That's what libertarians want. And that's what we all want. America. That's what we all want. And we're the only party that absolutely agrees on those simple points without interfering in your life and how you see to get to that point forward.
Right.
Okay. That's it.
Finally.
Great closing.
I want to thank Joe for coming on and providing us. This was probably, I say this all the time, I have my favorite top 5 episodes, and this is one of my top 5. I'm not going to say who got bumped out because I want them to come on again.
It was probably me.
You and Tubb are not in the top 5 anymore, and that's been a thing for a better part of a year and a half. So
I think any episode where you talk a lot, that episode gets you dropped off the top 5.
I didn't talk a lot. It was mainly you.
No,
but,
this one was mainly Tubb.
I was literally trying to make this about Joe right now, and Tubb and Erica just completely like screwing that over. Joe, thank you, bro.
You're doing great, Marcus. Keep it up.
Joe, do you have? I'll let Joe get the last statement before we do the live free or die. Joe, last statement.
No, again, thank you all very much. I had a great time. Thank you, Tubb. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Marcus. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Not Marcus.
Oh, wow. Okay, so as we always say, and I hope you guys can synchronize with me, you rhythmless raisins and potato salad. Salt is spice.
Joe, I know.
Sprite is spicy water, people. I want to say...
Water, people?
I've never heard that before. That's a good one. I'm going to use that.
Hold on.
He's saying we don't flavor...
We're
saying we think water's spicy because we don't flavor our food.
Sprite is spicy water. Sprite is spicy water.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because Mountain Dew has no fizzle, bro. You know, that's you people's go-to.
Well, first off, everybody in North Carolina drinks Mountain Dew. I'm not used to it, but it is everywhere.
Yeah,
it's everywhere. I mean, that's what it was a mixer for Hooch. I digress. It's another.
Yeah,
We're going to edit out the last 3 minutes, right?
Uh, I think so, bro. But
All right, here
as
we go.
always with the Black Powder Podcast, we ask you to live free
Or
or
die.
yeah.